IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, Maps, Past and Present. In this video, we're going to learn how to write a Task 1 when you get 2 maps. We'll analyse the task, review the method and structure, review the marking criteria, and check out a high-level sample. Let's start with the task. Here are the instructions. The maps below show the town of Madisonville in 1995 and the present day. Okay, so we're going to expect 2 maps, one showing a town in the past and one showing the town now. That's going to help us make decisions about what tenses to use. So here it is on the left, 1995, this is what Madisonville looked like. And on the right, present day, this is how it looks now. We've got a helpful little compass here showing us north, south, east and west. And we're going to have a look at the rest of it when we analyse in a moment. So let's recap the method. We'll analyse and plan for 3 minutes, follow the structure, writing with the criteria in mind. This takes 15 minutes and always save about 2 minutes to check your work. Let's have a closer look at these maps. Now, something to keep in mind when dealing with maps in task 1 is that you, like with a process diagram, you have to describe everything. You have to describe everything that changed and everything that stayed the same. So when you look at it to begin with, start by thinking about what stayed the same, and it can help to move your eyes from top to bottom. Use your pen or highlight and notice what stayed the same from 1995 to the present day. Pause the video now and have a look for yourself. Here's what I found. So these houses in the northwest corner pretty much stayed the same. There are a few additions. These houses here, the 4 in the middle, the hotel and the cafe down in the southeast corner also remained. So they were here in 95 and they're here now. Now, what about what changed? So again, pause the video and have a look for yourself. What is different between the past and present? This is what I found. The farmland became a golf course. The forest park, which was here in 95, is now tennis courts. The fishing port was removed completely. And there were some additions as well. So there are some new housing here and here. As I mentioned, there's a golf course and tennis courts in the place of the farmland and the forest park. There's also a car park down here next to the hotel. And these have changed. They used to be shops, now they're restaurants. And what was the fish market has become apartments. When it comes to writing my task 1, I need to include all of those details, what changed, what stayed the same. And I also need to make a broad statement about what happened to the town in general. For example, did it become more residential? Did it become more industrialized? Did it become greener or less green? Those kind of things are going to go into the overview. Because the structure is always the same. We'll still have an intro, we'll have an overview, and then key features, key features. We'll, as always, look for a way to divide the information. When writing, keep the criteria in mind, and we'll run through this checklist after we have a look at the sample. Here's my sample. Let's read through it because it's quite different to a process or a graph. Introduction's pretty simple. The pictures provide information about Madisonville as it was in 1995 and in its current state. I've just reworded this. Now my overview. Overall, the town appears to have evolved from a rural fishing town. So I said rural fishing town because of this farmland, the forest park, and the fishing port and fish market. So I've decided that it was a rural fishing town to more of a residential zone. And I've said that because now there are more apartments and houses, so it's become more residential, with more leisure facilities available to townspeople. So more leisure facilities like a golf course, like tennis courts. Key features 1, whereas a fishing port and fish market used to dominate the southern coastline in 1995, nowadays there is no sign of this industry. So I've just talked about the removal of these 2. The market has been replaced by apartments, and on the other side of the coastal road, the old shops here have been transformed into restaurants. The cafe on the beach remains, as does the hotel opposite it, though a new car park has been constructed beside it. Now, what can you notice about the way I've divided my key features here? I haven't done, as I sometimes would, I haven't talked about what stayed the same and what changed, but actually I've divided according to geography. So notice that everything I described in Key Features 1 is below this line. So I've dealt with the southern part of Madisonville. So you'd expect now I need to deal with this part up here, the northern part. To the northwest of the town, more houses have been built along the main road, and another road was extended to the west. So I'm talking about this part here. Remember, you shouldn't skip anything. So I have to talk about houses and also the road extension. To the northeast, farmland has been taken over by a golf course, while what used to be the forest park is now a couple of tennis courts. Throughout that task, you'll notice a lot of passive voice and also present perfect, past tense and present tense, because I'm describing changes that happened from 1995 to now. So let's go through the criteria checklist. Now, in terms of task achievement, have I presented a clear overview of main trends, stages, or differences? Now, there are no trends, there are no stages. I need to describe the main differences, and I've done that in my overview. The evolution of a rural fishing town to a more residential zone. Have I mentioned all the elements presented and highlighted each key feature? So this is part of your planning. As you go through, you need to make sure you don't miss anything or skip anything, because that will affect your score. Also, when you edit, just double check that you've included everything. Maybe start in the northwest and move your eye and your pen down the page. Data not needed in this task, but reporting accurately is. Coherence and cohesion. So it's logically organized. I've used paragraphs as always, and a range of linking devices. Here are some of the devices that I've used. Overall, whereas, nowadays, this, and, as, though, and, while. A lot of the other language, the transition language, is geographical. So things like the southern coastline, on the other side of the coastal road, to the northwest of the town. Those are also kinds of linking devices. Lexical resource, have I demonstrated a wide range? Pause the recording and look through this vocab. Do you know it all? Could you use it in your own writing? And the other part of lexical resource, precision. Is the vocab accurate? Is my spelling correct? If you're not confident with that, of course, make sure you have your writing checked by us. Grammatical range and accuracy, kind of the same thing. Have I demonstrated a wide range? I'll show you some of the structures. Firstly, present perfect voice appears to have evolved. The market has been replaced. Now this is present perfect passive. Have been transformed, has been constructed, have been built, has been taken over. When you have a map in the past and another map in the present, present perfect is going to be a very useful tense for you. Passive voice, as I mentioned, there's other examples here too. Was extended, for example, past passive. Complex structures. When I write, I'm always careful to include complex structures. So I do that by using words like whereas, though, and while. Accuracy. Is my grammar accurate and punctuation correct? In this sample, yes it is. So when you move on now to have a go at writing about maps, make sure that you save time at the end to edit with the checklist. So go through all of these questions. Did I present a clear overview? Did I mention all elements? Present, highlight the key features. Skip that. Did I report accurately? And so on. On test day, this should be burnt into your mind. Method review. Analyze and plan around 3 minutes. Follow the structure, writing with the criteria in mind, 15 minutes. And check your work for for 2 minutes. Time to practice now. Have a go at writing about maps.